Hey everyone! Welcome to my Facebook, not YouTube channel, but Facebook. Wow. What am I doing with my YouTube channel? Nothing. Alright, great. But anyway, so basically I want to make a little video, maybe just like a little encouragement and the word of God. I just want to share a little bit about what God has been doing in my life and like the word that He has been sharing to me and just everything that He has been doing in my life. Basically, God has been so kind and God has been just so faithful throughout all the seasons that I'm going through right now. If you guys know, probably a lot of you guys know my Facebook friends. I don't know if I'm gonna put it in Instagram or not, but if I would, then here you go. You probably know that I went to YWAM the beginning of this year, and I did a DTS, which stands for Discipleship Training School, and I did my DTS for 6 months. So for the first 6 months of this year, I was doing this mission trips in Australia and also Nepal and Manila. So basically in Australia I was doing a mission training, and then in Nepal and Manila I was doing mission trips where I was just sharing gospel and just evangelism every day. But basically that's what I was doing for the first 6 months of my life. Sorry, the first 6 months of this year. And then I went back home. Almost everyone, they have just idea of what they're gonna do next. At least they have like this idea where they will do a job, or they will work, or they will just you do a job, or like everything that God has called them to do. They almost everyone knew about it, but I had no idea. I knew that there was one night, which was actually the last night I was in Perth. God spoke to me and He said clearly, He said, "You're gonna go back here." And I was like, "No, I'm not going back." And He was like, "You are." And I was just like, okay, you know what, that's not God. I was just like denying His voice. And then I went back home. 2 weeks after that, God was just like, you're going back. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious, God? Like, what? Like, it was just really hard for me to say yes to Him. I don't know why. Like, I want it, but it's hard to say yes. But anyway, so He spoke to me, and then I was just like, okay, if you want me to go, then let me go for a ministry. So like choose one ministry for me. And then He said the resting place. So I applied for that. However, my age wasn't enough. So I'm 16 right now. So when I applied it, I'm still 16 definitely. But the time that I'll go, which I'll be going back to Australia on January, and I will be 17 by that time. So my age is not enough to do that ministry. So I was like, God, what are you doing? You said I need to join this ministry. And then there's just like a lot of way He spoke to me, and then I just came to the conclusion where maybe I should do hospitality for now, and then I can do the resting place later. So I talked to the leaders in YWAM and stuff, and it turned out that everything worked out. So I am going back to Australia, and I'm doing a ministry called hospitality, and then I'll be doing the resting place once I turn 18, which is in 2019, like in a year and a year and 2 months, I guess. But that's basically what God has called me to do. So I'm going back in Australia, and I'm trusting God for everything, finances and everything. But this is not the point I make this video, so maybe don't stop watching the video just because I talk about this, because I'm not trying to ask for sponsors or whatever, but I'm trying to testify the faithfulness of God, because He has called me to do this thing that is pretty it's pretty huge, or like it's a pretty huge I don't want to say project, but like it's a huge project with God. You know what I mean? Like it's something that God has called me to do, yet it's also going to be my first time being away for 2 years, although I will be going back home definitely for like vacation, but still it's gonna be a huge thing. So He has been preparing me throughout this past maybe I've been home for 5 months, I guess, and He has just been so kind. And when I said that, I'm not trying to say that everything has been so easy, everything has been so good, and everything has been nice. I'm not gonna say that, because everything hasn't been that nice. Since I've gone home, a lot of things have happened. Maybe almost every single week that I've been home here, almost every single week, I have faced a lot of different situations that are very, very tough for me. When I was in Manila, as I was doing my mission trip, I lost my grandma, and she passed away. She's one of my closest family member. She's probably like the closest, and I loved her with all my heart. And it was very heartbreaking to know that she was gone when I was gone from home. So well, that happened, and it was hard for me. And then a few months after that, just a few weeks ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago, my sister passed away. So a lot of things have happened in the past few months. They have been really tough, yet God has been so kind, because throughout all the seasons in my life where I found them really hard, all that I could see was the love of God. God has been truly kind, and not just losing my family members. I have been dealing a lot with anxiety attacks, which I have never talked to my friends about them, because I've tried. I'm just gonna be real here. I've tried to cover them up, just trying to make people trust me. However, I know that that's a normal thing. It's a normal thing to have your own problem. Like, it's fine. So, friends, if you're trying to cover up your problems, don't do that, because that's wild. You will never be able to do that. Like, the harder you try to cover up the problem or the trouble that you're going through, the more people will find out. Like, the easier it is for people to find out. Like, so, like, why would you cover it up? Like, let's just be real to people, and especially to God. I love David. The book of Psalms have been my food this past few months, especially this past 1 week. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, this past 1 week, I've been dealing a lot with anxiety attacks and with just all fears. I've been having sleepless nights, and it's been really tough. This has happened for just as how I've stayed home here, and I have been dealing with a lot of that. Just because I've been dealing with a lot of situations that have been really tough and hard, like losing my grandma, losing my sister, just like all this stuff, like, and then like friendships, like changes with friendships, just a lot of stuff that have happened in my life that led me to a situation where I just felt so anxious about life, and I felt so anxious about myself. I was just so anxious about my identity in Christ. I was not secure about it. I was very, very insecure about it, and I had to deal with them. And I've been just learning a lot from David, because whenever I face problems or whenever I feel like I'm so anxious, usually I'll get to the point where I'm just like, wow, I'm nervous, or like, wow, I get to the point where I'm like, would people still trust me if I'm going through this rough time? So that feeling, that thoughts, that just made me think like, I should cover this up. I should cover this all problems, all of this anxieties that I have, all of this just all these things that are happening in my life. I have to cover them up, and just this has been in my mind whenever I feel anxious about my life. However, I learned from David how David was so honest. The book of Psalms, most of the books were written by David, and this book is not like this. This book is not like, it's powerful, but it's also, I want to say, it's a diary. Like where David literally poured out his heart, not just his heart towards God, but also his heart about the people that are around him, about his life, about his situation, about where he was. He was so honest, and he was so authentic in this book. And I love the book of Psalms, and I love chapter 142. If you want to read Psalms 142 in your quiet time, it will be so great. It's like a short chapter, yet it's so great. I love verse 1 until verse 3. It's like my favorite verses at the moment. It says, I cry out to the Lord. I plead for the Lord mercies. I pour out my complaints before him and tell him all my troubles. When I am overwhelmed, you alone know the way I should turn. Wherever I go, my enemies have set traps for me. Actually, verse 4 is pretty good. I look for someone to come and help me, but no one gives me a passing thought. No one will help me. No one cares a bit what happens to me. Then I pray to you, Lord. I say, you are my place of refuge. You are all I really want in life. Hear my cry, for I am very low. Rescue me from my persecutors, for they are too strong for me. Bring me out of prison so I can thank you. The godly will crowd around me, for you are good to me. Friends, in this chapter, David was in the point in his life where he was lonely. Because in verse 4, if you read it, it says, I look for someone to come and help me, but no one gives me a passing thought. It's so crazy how David was very honest in this book. He said, I look around, I try to find help, but no one cares about my soul. I'm pretty sure it's in another version of the Bible, but it says that no one cares about my soul. You know, I was just in a position where I felt so lonely, I would say. Like, I tried to find help. However, that situation made me realize that nobody in this world could help me and could get me out of any situation other than God. Only God knows the way. Verse 3 is one of the most powerful verse. It says, when I am overwhelmed, you alone. It says, you alone know the way I should turn. Friends, here's the thing. When you are overwhelmed, when you are anxious, sometimes you don't even understand yourself. Am I right? Sometimes we don't even know. We don't even know what we're going through. We don't even know how we feel. And sometimes we're like, oh my goodness, what am I feeling? What am I trying to say right here? But here's the thing, friends. When you are anxious and when you are overwhelmed with life, you might not understand how you feel. But the thing is that God knows you far better than you know yourself. He knows you far better than you know yourself. He knows your heart. He knows the thoughts that are in your mind. He knows everything. Every single thing about you. So, if He knows it all, He knows the way to bring you out of all this situation that you think there's no other way to get out from this. He knows the way. In fact, Jesus is the way. You know, sometimes we're so confused. What should we do? What should we do? How can we get out from the situation where we feel so anxious, when we feel so overwhelmed about life? You know, the only way to get out from a situation like that is to cling to Jesus, to hold on to Jesus, because the Bible said that Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. So if you want to get out from a place or a situation where you feel depressed and where you feel anxious, do it with Jesus. You cannot do it by yourself. It says that you alone know the way I should turn. Only God knows the way you should turn. Only God knows the way where you should go. Only God knows what you should do next. If he wants you to talk to other people, or if He wants you to stay in your room, whatever it is, He knows the way. So talk to Him. You need to cry out to the Lord. It says that I cry out to the Lord. David, what he did when he was so distressed, that's the key why David grew up from his problems. You know, David didn't let his problems killed him. David didn't let his problems destroy him, but he used that problems to grow him up, to grow him up and to build him to be a stronger person. So today, what is your choice? Do you want to grow from your problems, or do you want to grow weary because of your problems? Choose it. You have the choice. You have the right to choose. So friends, I encourage you to choose to cling to God and to choose to grow from your problems. The only way to do them is to cry out to the Lord, to be honest, to be authentic to the Lord, and to be real about your feelings. He's not angry. I love Psalms 103 verse 8. It says that the Lord is compassionate and merciful, slow to get angry, and filled with unfailing love. You need to know that your Father, the God that you're worshiping, Jesus Christ, it says that in the Bible that God is love. You need to know that His love is everlasting. His love is wild. His love is great, and it's just very overflowing. So you don't have to be afraid. He's slow to get angry, and he wants to know your problems. You don't have to be afraid to be honest about your feelings. Go to Him, cry out to the Lord. He wants to know how you're feeling. He wants to help you with whatever that you're going through right now. He wants to help you and I today. So friends, do not give up. Cling to Him, hold on to Him. He wants to help you. If He could help me, I'm still working on it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because I'm still working. God is still working on my life, and I know that He won't finish working on my life. So I cannot say that I'm perfect, and I cannot say that I am done with like all of these things. Like, you know, I cannot say that I'm finished. I'm a finished product. No. God, His plan, it's finished. He has made it. He's planned it. Yet I'm still in the journey, and I know that I'm not perfect, and I know you are not too. But the thing is that God is never looking for people who are completely perfect. He's looking for people who wants to be changed, who wants to be transformed. So friends, don't give up. Whatever problems you have, you are not the worst people on the world. You are not the worst person on the earth. He knows your problems, and He said, come to me, all of you who are weary, for I have all that you need. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Friends, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. You will never ever be able to solve any problems in your life by yourselves. You need Jesus. So hold on to him. Know that he is a compassionate Father. He is filled with unfailing love. The last verse that I want to give to you is Psalms 103 verse 13. It says that the Lord is like a father to his children, tender and compassionate to those who fear him. He is tender and compassionate to those who fear him. Friends, don't ever think that God is angry to you, because he is not. He is never disappointed with problems that you're facing. He wants to help you. He wants you to be free, to be set free from anxieties, from depression, from fears, from just anything that is holding you back. He wants you to be set free more than you would ever want to be free. Do you know that? Do you have an idea about that? Jesus wants you to be set free because he is the freedom. You can only find the truth, the way, and the life in him, because he is the truth, the way, and the life. So friends, my only encouragement for you today is to come to him, spend time with him, be honest to him about your feelings. He wants to help you with this. He wants to help you to get out from any problems that you're going through today. So don't give up. Let me pray for you, friends. God, I thank you for all my Facebook friends who are going through such a rough time today. I pray that you will just help them. And even like just people who are watching this, I don't know if I'm going to put this in YouTube, God, but if I would put this in YouTube, then God, bless all people who are watching this video right now, that they would be honest, God, to you, that they will be able to just come to you and cling to you and hold on to you, God, that they will be able to know and realize that you alone are the way to get out from any frustration, to get out from any depression, God. I thank you that you alone are God and you alone are good. I thank you for your love, God. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Hello. That's my sister anyway. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know if I'm gonna put this in YouTube, but if I would put this in YouTube, then you can comment down below if you want. I mean,
but subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Well, thank you everybody. I hope you have a great Sunday. It's Sunday here. If it's not Sunday there, or I don't know. But God bless you guys. Have a great Sunday. Have a great day with your family or by yourself. I don't know, with your boyfriend, girlfriend. Wow, good for you if you have a boyfriend. But anyway, bye.